Good day, good day. Hey, I just wanted to talk about my experience with learning French so far. I've been learning French for about 5 weeks now. Um, Previous to that, I'd learned French in high school, and so I took maybe like a year of French, and it was a good experience. Um, the reason that I'm learning French is sort of hard. It's hard to explain, and it's funny when I've talked to people about why I'm learning French. It's because I just like it. There's no real um, there's no real objective, like in terms of like I want a job, or like I want to meet French women, or like some of those, some of those reasons that you might hear, and there's nothing wrong with those reasons, but mine's more like I just like this, like I like the sound. I like what I've seen of, like, when our people are speaking the language, like the speed, the tone, um, the cadence, and all these other things that just like I just that I just like enjoy hearing, and I wouldn't mind hearing it from myself. I also like the culture, of course, and what I know of the history, even though I need to learn more about that. So in any case, I've been learning French for about 5 weeks, and the experience has been good. What got me into relearning the language, or picking back up the study of learning French, is that I recently went to France in early December, and the reason I went there is because I wanted to go to France in general, and just see it, and just and be there. But as you guys might know, I make cider. I've been training myself for the past 2 years to be a cider maker, and France has a cider making region. So my plan was to go to Europe and travel to some of these cider making regions. I wanted to go to France, England, and Spain, which would have been ideal, but I figured I could only go to France and England. And really, in terms of seeing cider things, I only really saw the cider making region of France. I went to the the to Normandy, that region, which is near Normandy. So the cider road, or cider route to them. So I stayed in a city called Caen. Caen. It's Caen. I stayed there for a bit, and I got to go just because I'm not an experienced international traveler. So when I went there, I really didn't get to see everything I wanted to see, and I went to like one cidery. But I was pretty happy about that. There's always the opportunity to go back, so I'm not really worried about that. But I got to stay in Paris and sort of see some of the sights there, and I really had a good time. But I also had a very difficult time because I didn't speak the language, and so it was hard for me to communicate and interact with the culture the way I would like to. So it was frustrating, and I was a bit embarrassed for myself because I really, I really wanted to connect, but I didn't prepare myself, and I just kind of winged it, and I thought like, well, everything will be fine, and when in fact perhaps I could have took some time to learn some key phrases and things of that nature before I went there. But things happened extremely fast, and I was moving around a lot, so I really didn't have, at least I really didn't have time to, as, as least at least as I thought, to sort of learn things. I just wasn't in that frame of mind to just because of my past experience with learning languages. I really didn't think like, oh, I could just learn something and be, and sort of be fine and have good interactions with with people. I just didn't think that was possible, but now today I know that's possible. So what I've been doing is that I've been pretty serious about learning French, and some of the resources that I've turned to is Duolingo uh, for uh, for for French learners of, of English learners of French, and so I've been pretty serious about that. I started off like, because they have four different levels, which is like insane, serious, I think regular and casual, and I started off with insane, so I was doing that for about 2 weeks, and I was really going fast. And I went down to serious, and then now I'm at regular. So I'm sort of evening out or pacing out, but I'm also finding different methods that I think will help me um, start to be conversational in French much quicker, which should be the goal, because you want to just be able to speak to people. And one thing that I've been doing is I've been going to a French meetup group and attempting to hold conversations in French. And these experiences, although they've been difficult because I'm just like not there yet in terms of being able to hold conversations and express myself. Um, you learn stuff. People tell you, give you advice, and some people are encouraging, and some people are not. And it motivates you for the next time to just go back and do better. Like in anything that's challenging that you enjoy, it 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 motivates you. If you don't lose motivation. But so I'd went to French meetup for 4 weeks straight, and then like at the last one, I kind of felt like maybe I needed to take like at least like a week or two break, to sort of gather myself and reevaluate like what I'm doing, so I'm not just there, um, like is sort of just sitting there, and people are feeling bad for me and stuff like that. So I found a technique. It's called the FLR technique, and it's by Moses McCormick. Excuse me if I'm maybe mispronouncing the last name wrong, but great guy, great videos, very encouraging, and has a great method. And so his whole thing is about just start speaking the language immediately. And how you're able to do that is that you learn what he calls road running keywords. And so these are words that are able to. I feel like they're words that you're able to either start a sentence with. And sorry, I'm not a big grammar buff, so but there's like conjunctions and adverbs and adjectives and the things that you're able to connect sentences with, or make contrasts with, or contrast comparisons, and like start sentences with, and things of that nature. And he also has some key phrases that, like common things that you would ask, and thing and answers to those questions in French, in any language. Sorry, in any language. So phrases, that you would ask and answer, things that you'd ask and answer, sorry, ask and answer in typical conversations in your target language, as he says, target. You also have word things that are there to support you when you're having difficulties. So, can you speak more slowly? Can you say that again? I don't understand. Perhaps if you speak a little slower, maybe I'll understand. So things that sort of your lifeline or your safety net if you're having difficulty, but you want to tell that person you're speaking to that you're having difficulty, and maybe they'll help you along without maybe switching to the language that you're accustomed to. So yeah, I took a week off from going to a French meetup group, and I've been studying these road running keywords, these difficulty phrases, and these typical conversational phrases. So yeah, between FLR, Duolingo, and some other resources. One resource I found that's really great in France is Tordeaux de Portes, which is Twisted Doors. But this is a great resource because it takes you through this sort of scary story, and it has it has a conversation, the dialogue, the story in French, and it also has it in English, and so and then it has like some keywords in there, so it's teaching you in context. So I would check that out as well, and I'll maybe provide a link to that or the name of that book below. So learning in context is extremely important. I've been listening to quite a bit of French music. I've been watching a lot of French films, which I'd already owned in the past because I really enjoy like a lot of their movies. I think France makes excellent movies, and they have their own style. If you watch their films, some of them seem to like they just don't seem to. It just seems to just be stories, And like you just made a story that really didn't have like a great conclusion, like didn't have like a great conclusion or a climax or anything. Like, how did you get the money to make that? Like stuff that wouldn't fly in United States. You can do there, it seems. So, anyways, watching a lot of French films, music, doing some reading. Like right now, I'm reading Alice in Wonderland, in a dual language book. So really immersing myself in the language. I'm trying to think of other things that I could do. If I could have a conversation one-on-one with somebody, I think that would be ideal. Somebody that's supportive, and I'm working to find these people, and I have no doubt that I'll be able to find these people or that person soon. Just because, if you want something, you could do it. Yeah, so that's sort of been my method right now. The next step is to make an introductory video, and I hope to have that soon, within the next week or two, introducing myself, and just keep it going, just being persistent. I had a moment after the last French meetup group where I felt like I got a little bit of negative feedback. I was just feeling the vibes and stuff like that, and that's what kind of got me to maybe take a break and make sure that I'm doing my diligence in terms of learning instead of just sitting there and kind of soaking up the language and just like listening to people. It's kind of awkward, perhaps for them, if you if you're not able to participate. They get concerned. I think people they get concerned about you, and maybe think, he's not having a good time or he's angry or something like that, and they don't want you to feel that way. Conversely, you don't want them to um, think that you're feeling that way, and maybe you sort of take some of their looks and some of their vibes the wrong way. So, anyways, I just thought it'd be good to take a little break there. Hey, what else? So that's what's been happening. 4 months in. Um, as you can tell, I'm not like spitting any phrases out right now because I don't feel like I'm ready. But that's not true. It's just a confidence thing. And anyways, I'm gonna make that video, and so you'll get to see where I'm at that point. And what I'd like to do is document sort of my progress, and hopefully think of creative ways to do that, and share that with you guys. Aside from my liver flesh stuff that I'm doing, maybe this would be good in terms of learning. And I think that's one reason to learn a language, is to understand the learning process for yourself, because it's one of those things that is very, it can be very difficult to do, and you think you can't do it, but you can. You just have to keep willing it, if you want to, you know. And another thing I want to do is learn Tagalog, because my mother does speak Tagalog. I'm part Filipino, and all this time I could have, now that I'm learning, I have a technique down, or a method of my own. Of course, borrow from others, and some that I'm owning for myself. But I have a native speaker in my presence, so I should be able to learn Tagalog if my mom's up for it. I've just been trying to not bother her too much yet, and just complete my portion, my part, in terms of FLR, and start gathering some resources. But French is definitely the goal first, and then Tagalog, and then yeah, we'll see from there. So yeah, just want to give a video proclaiming that I'm learning French, and sort of give you my experience so far. If you have any experience learning another language, and you have any advice, or would just like to share your experience with me, with this channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you speak French and would like to take me on in terms of having a conversation with me, I'd love to hear from you. Any case, I will talk to you later. Au revoir.